Welcome to the Imperfect Dads podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Jake Snider from the band Minus the Bear. We talked about when your kids are right and you're wrong, learning to give yourself more grace, school and parenting during COVID, navigating school when your kid has ADHD, wondering what college would be like for them, mental health, Minus the Bear taking a break, getting the band back together, being primary parent and focusing on family more, how he and his wife handle him being on tour, and reunion shows and opening for Jimmy World. Make sure to check out minusthebear.com to catch them on tour this fall. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Hey, welcome to another episode of The Imperfect Dads. This episode's guest is Jake Snider of Minus the Bear. Welcome, Jake.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, first question, easiest question to ask is always, how many kids you got, ages, all that good stuff?
I have two. I've got a 14-year-old boy, he's like a man now, and then an 11-year-old daughter.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
How's it? I have a 10-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter, and 4-year-old son. And already my 10-year-old daughter is straight up acting like she owns the world. She knows how everything works. I'm assuming that doesn't get better as they get older.
No, not really. Yeah, not really. But the best thing about that is sometimes my son is right. So then I can be like, I'm the idiot. Go ahead. Yeah, go on. Do your thing.
You got this. Can you think of any examples of that lately where you've been like, ah, damn it, he's right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, recently we have like a parental control on our internet provider app. And the app is like a piece of shit. The app sucks, but it has parental controls where you can shut off specific devices at a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, he came in and he was like, my stuff's not working. What's going on? And so I looked at it and went through like the first thing and turned off, the timer. Like I was like, go ahead, you're back on. He's like, I'm not on. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to delete your entire profile because screw it. And then you'll be fine. And he's like, I'm not on. And I'm like, you have to be on. Like the software is working, right?
Yeah.
This is happening. And he like goes away, right? And says it's not working. He leaves. Not the house. He just goes downstairs or whatever.
Yeah.
And the couple days go by and he just tells me that it's still not working. And I'm like, this is impossible. Like every other computer in the house functions, TVs, his PS5, everything works, but his phone and his laptop. Long story short, I go through all of these, Reddit threads about like, why is this not connecting? Connects to the Wi-Fi, doesn't connect to the internet. And then he says last night, why don't you just recreate my profile on the app and then we'll see if it just didn't think that it turned on these devices. And so we did that and it worked. I didn't think it would work because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, it already thinks that they're gone. Like, why would it but it somehow like, I don't know, restarting routers and doing all the basic shit. And he's just like, just recreate my thing and then see if it works. And yeah, I don't know. I still don't know why it worked because it doesn't seem like it should.
Of course not. Yeah. That's
But,
we have like the Vizio TVs that have all the apps inside of them and all that. And yeah, like my kids will be like, yeah, you'll turn on and it'll like spin out and they'll be like, it's probably not connecting to the internet. And they'll have like all these ideas of what could be wrong with it. And I'm just there like, I don't want to start problem solving this. Can I just sit here and see if the circle keeps spinning? Can I just wait for this to like see what it does? And then we can problem solve because I'm tired of problem solving.
Yeah, he hates our internet service provider. I do too, but there are only 3. So locally.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're in like Denver suburbs and like our phone service is just kind of spotty. Like we'll like near our kids' school, if I like go to drop them off or need to pick them up for anything, I have no cell service. But then I leave literally the block their school is on and I have cell service. So like there have been times where my like wife has called me like, hey, did you remember this? And like the phone call dies in the middle of it. And I'm like, did I remember what? Did I remember what? I don't, I'm screwed. What am I doing here?
I'm in like Tacoma. I'm in the city, like in the north end. And if I go like half a mile south, I have service. At my house, it's incredibly spotty. At their elementary school, it was non-existent. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like these pockets of dead zones here. This is what dads worry about. Like this is like
It is.
cell phone service. And I'm like, but it's real. Like these small struggles become big frustrations.
They do. It like creates the inertia of your day where like your wife or kids get home and you're annoyed at everything. And it's like, I just want my phone to work. I just want my internet to work. And everything I do doesn't make it better. And I'm being an ass to you. And I don't mean to be an ass to you, but you're here.
Yeah, I'm frustrated at them, whoever they might be, but not the child, right?
Yeah, just collective you, but you happen to be here. So I'm sorry.
So that's the one. Yeah.
I mean, it
Current one.
happens. Yeah, current one, right? That's the worst though, because like you just want, I don't even know if it's like I want to be right. I think most of the time I still want to problem solve something new. Like my problem solving energy by the end of the day is just like non existent. So yeah, a kid comes into the bedroom at like 8 p.m. is like, how do I fix this? And I'm like, I don't know. Ask like 8 p.m. me is done. 8 a.m. me, perfect. Got tons of solutions. 8 p.m. me, he's done. He hasn't got anything for you.
Yep. Yep. I was done, but now it's done. It's awesome. He solved his own problem.
That's great. That's what, yeah. That's what you were really doing this whole time. You were slow rolling it to see if he could figure out the solution so you didn't have to.
Parenting. That's just parenting 101.
Yeah. Just don't try not to admit to your children you have no idea what you're doing until they come up with a solution. That's great. That's what we're here for.
That might be higher level parenting. Like it might be actually, you know, not quite graduate, but the end of your,
Yeah.
end of your bachelor's in parenting.
Yeah. What's your daughter like? Is she corrected you on anything recently?
She doesn't like communicate that much.
Okay.
She's more of she goes to her room and hangs out in her room and doesn't bring a lot of problems to
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
But like she's in gymnastics.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it. Like if any parent can keep their children out of club sports,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely keep them out of club sports. Gymnastics it's incredibly expensive. It's incredibly time consuming. And so that she goes to gymnastics 4 days a week after school for 4 hours every session.
No.
Yeah. And it's like our second highest bill besides like the mortgage, but it's like
Yes.
good for her, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. It is good for her. I'm
I
told.
also think like track would be good. And that's like shoes, and do it at
Yeah.
school or whatever. But
Yeah.
she is really good. She did track and pretty much destroyed everybody in elementary school. But gymnastics, she's good and it's worth it. And her friends are pretty much her teammates. But yeah, it's insane. So she's pretty spent when she's home.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll give her that kind of chill time.
Did you do any sports growing up? Because like I felt like whenever I was growing up, like you could do soccer, you could do travel soccer and stuff like that. The level of commitment some of these clubs take now is that like, hey, this is 16 hours of your week now, and you're like,
Yeah.
that wasn't my childhood, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that good for them? I told it is.
I'm told it is. I don't know. I did skateboarding and snowboarding,
Yeah.
like your traditional punk rock sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I spent that much time on those sports.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's reasonable, but it's just a different thing, but my kids can't snowboard. I've got gymnastics money to spend.
Yeah.
It was a different time in the 80s and 90s on the mountain, but skateboarding is a very affordable, very good sport. Trying to get my son into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that was my thing. I did like one quarter of, or 1 year, one season, I suppose they call it, of swimming in high school. And like I was a very anti not jock kind of dude
Hmm.
with this skating and what music and
Yep.
whatnot. But I thought it would be funny to get a Letterman's jacket. So I did the one.
Yep.
That's it.
I pretty much did the same thing where in high school, like I wasn't, I played guitar and played music stuff and like skateboarding. And then my senior year, I had a bunch of friends who played soccer. And like, I was like, maybe I can play soccer. So I always said I got the senior sympathy spot because they were like,
Nice.
he's nice enough. He's a good vibe. He's a glue guy. Let's put him on the team.
Fun. Yeah.
I think it doesn't, it seems different nowadays. We're like, yeah, whenever I was in high school, it seemed like you were either a music kid or a jock, or like you were nerdy or you were a jock. And I don't have a kid in high school, so I don't know if that's still the same, but I feel like people are more accepting of like, yeah, you might play soccer or basketball and also know chords on guitar. It seems more like that from what I can tell, but could be wrong.
Yeah, both kids are in middle school now, and even in
Okay.
their elementary school, that it was like they had their friend groups, but it didn't seem like there was the. It doesn't seem like the hierarchy of things is the same as it used to be, and like I don't hear about bullying that much in our school. Like
Yeah.
it seems like there's a bit more acceptance of kind of different people. Anybody can be, you know, cross pollinating through different groups.
Yeah. Well, because if I think of stuff I would have been made fun of for in high school to have been like, you like comic books. Well, now like Marvel movies is $1 billion industry. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. That's $1 billion. Like anything that wasn't cool whenever I was a kid is now like there's 50 podcasts and TV shows about it. So like it's not the same.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah. I mean, I'll turn 50 this month and I'm still reading comic books, but, on my phone at night,
Yes. Yeah.
So try to get my son into comic books too.
Yeah.
And he likes some of it, but I'm like, you've got, you know, early 80s to late
Hmm.
90s comic books in the garage that you could just blow through, uh, and just check them all out and read some of these stories. But he's done a little bit of like the Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy and stuff
Okay.
like that. Movie connection, right? He connects
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
with the movie, so he thinks
Yep.
it's cool.
And you want the source material to some extent. You're like, oh, what was this based off of? Which character arc is it? What's your like go to? Who's like one of your favorite comic characters, or like some of your favorites?
Um, I was definitely the like Marvel, like
Hmm.
X-Men type stuff, that kind of thing. Nice. It's good. I think that the philosophy Marvel had is good for your political upbringing
Hmm.
and like accepting people and all that. So,
Yeah.
X-Men is a great one that kind of just he's post like the first iteration of the team, or like the team where they were, let's see, going through like the mutant massacre. I don't know if you go that far back,
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but like,
More late 80s, early 90s, because I was
yeah,
born
like
in the 80s. So yeah.
you got your Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm,
Hmm.
Angel,
Beast.
Beast,
Yeah.
and like didn't have some of the 90s cartoon one, like some of
Hmm.
those characters weren't quite there yet. And the costumes were, I think, better than the cartoon
Yeah.
version of them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was pretty gritty back then. And
Hmm.
yeah, some pretty amazing writing, like Chris Claremont era, and some good art with Mark Silvestri and whatnot. Look at me. I'm a comic nerd.
Look
Yeah.
at this.
Look at
Well,
this.
I've also done the same where like since now there's like the Marvel Unlimited app, like I like Daredevil a lot, but there's so many storylines of Daredevil that like I remember getting the app and like just trying to figure out how do I go back to there's also so many iterations of a character. I'm like, all right, which version of Daredevil do I want to read about? Do I want to do this one, that one? Do I want to do yellow? Like, and then you can get really look up and be like, I've read Daredevil for like a month now, and it's awesome and it's great
Yeah.
and it's really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you go and it does. If I'm watching some of the stuff on some of the shows, then you go into the app and start
Yeah.
reading the Daredevil comics or Punisher or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get my kid into really cool nerd stuff like
Hmm.
that or Star Wars. And he's like, yeah, Star Wars is boring.
Ouch. What's he like instead? If he doesn't like, because to me, like that's what you do as a dad. You make your kids watch Star Wars, and then they love it, and then you keep the tradition going. So if he doesn't like Star Wars, what's he like instead?
Video games,
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing. I think it's attention span.
Yeah.
Like with Star Wars, like watching like the first Star Wars movie, the original OG,
Hmm.
he's like, this is pretty boring. And I'm like, you know what? It's a little slow
Yeah.
now that I'm watching it again.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was, 4 years old and was like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my daughter loves like Stranger Things, and
Cool.
yeah, she's a little bit more. She's kind of like into horror style
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, my son is so cool. He's like jaded. He's like, I'm not really. Horror's boring. It's like, all right, man. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Does your daughter have nightmares or anything? Because like Vecna is like a legitimately scary, murderous character in Stranger Things.
She doesn't like complain about nightmares to me, at least. I could
Yeah.
ask my
Right. Yeah.
find my wife.
That's that because my wife, we tried to watch Stranger Things and I've watched like all of it. I love like Stephen King, all the 80s horror stuff I'm kind of
Mhm.
obsessed with. And like, yeah, my wife in the second season was like, the show gives me nightmares. And I was like, well, I guess I'm watching this alone from here on out.
Yeah, totally.
Here's a specific question because you had jokingly said like in an email, like, oh man, like my ADHD might get me.
Mhm.
I've had a couple guests on who have said they've been diagnosed with ADHD later on in life, and it's been like a really helpful thing. Like for them just like understand the language to speak about how their mental space works. Is that like part of your story? Also, we're kind of later on in life, you're like, oh, I've got ADHD, like diagnosed. Or is it more like a joking, like, that might be my ADHD?
Well, throughout my adult life, I was, diagnosed with depression, anxiety, all this, that kind of stuff, which led later into a diagnosis of like a bipolar diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been officially diagnosed with ADD, but my wife was, in her 40s, like
Mm-hmm.
mid to late 40s, diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and the kids have been. So, of
Okay.
course, it's a family affair.
Yes.
The things that she's learning about herself, I just find a lot of that in me, just kind of a
Yeah.
lot of the symptoms. And there's a lot of, obviously, a lot of you know, diagnosis is between bipolar and ADD. A lot of people kind of have both, but
Okay.
I don't think I've really delved into getting an
Yeah.
official diagnosis. The dude that I go to is just kind of like, I don't know, we're on a very business like arrangement at this point. It's like, how's it going? Pretty good. What's up with your family? All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's your prescription. And then,
Yeah.
off we
Keep
go.
keep it going. That's that's cool. Did that as far as like mental space, did that like what did that change for you, like getting that diagnosis? Because I've had other people tell me that like it allowed them the room to give themselves a lot of grace.
It's things kind of click into place a little bit.
Yeah.
You see it and you understand a bit more about your history, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of past behaviors, like past
Yeah.
instances that weigh on you for years, and then you go,
Mm-hmm.
well, that could be attributed to this. I might be an asshole or whatever,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it might also be this disorder, this mental,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of happens to everybody. You go through a period of like, well, what could have been? And then you kind of try to work forward from go through those stages of grief. And then
Yeah.
you kind of come out and, hopefully get correctly medicated and stop doing whatever exacerbates it in your life. And then hopefully it improves. I mean, getting medicated has been, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably life saving.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of getting older, and especially with being a parent, is like looking at patterns and being like, if I do this, this is who I become. If I exasperate myself in this way, I'm kind of an asshole. So
Hmm.
maybe I just stop. Is it possible to stop myself from going down this track? Lynn? Is it meds? Is it
Right.
meditation? Is it something else? And that's like the only way I know how to be like a better person and dad is like whenever I do this, I'm a dick. So I don't want to be a dick to my family. So I'm just gonna can I eliminate the intro before I get to this point.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And then, seeing like the kids kind of suffering from similar things
Yeah.
in class. And it's like elementary, all school is incredibly boring for
Hmm.
somebody who's, got these diseases, whatever disorders, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call them, um, what do they call it now? They're divergent. So the
Divergence. Yes. The divergence. Yep.
neurodivergence
Yes.
in class, it's hard. It's hard when you kind of see things differently and sometimes are ahead of things and sometimes just don't have the attention span to pick up
Hmm.
on
Yep.
things. And my wife and I totally understand it, and so, you figure out if you need to get your kid accommodations or
Hmm.
whatever, and then try not to hound him too much, but, be like, high school's coming up. You got to do, pretty good, So,
My kids are too young to start thinking about like college and stuff. Is that like, I feel like college has a whole different meaning to like this generation than it did for like us. Do you feel like already in your head, like, oh man, will my son go to college? Will my daughter go to college? Or are you just kind of like, let's get them through middle school and high school and we'll figure it out later?
yeah, we're thinking about it, like, in
Hmm.
terms of grades, like, if my son does anything in class, he usually gets a B or an A, but
Yeah.
sometimes he just doesn't really do what they ask. He's just like, "It's dumb, I don't want to."
Yep.
But I'm like, if you wanna get into college, you have to have good grades, but, like, now you have to have exceptionally good, grade.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into college with my high school grades. I could barely get into college back then. And so I don't know what it looks like for this generation where the threshold for entrance is so high with both GPA and, having to have these extracurriculars and good SAT scores. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just also, it's difficult and like I don't look forward to it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get how it's going to work for this generation of kids, but hopefully there are other avenues obviously to
Hmm.
a successful life, and maybe we define it differently as the adulthood passes over to these kids, but I'm like, AI is not going to take over for an electrician or
Nope.
a plumber,
Yeah.
and these guys are those jobs are really solid and amazing compared to like a lot of the jobs that were sold to us as,
Hmm.
here's what you should do in the future. This is going to be amazing. And now everybody's getting, so many people are getting laid off at this point in the bullshit administration that we have that's destroying
Pretty
everything.
much. Pretty
So,
much. Why
yeah,
would you pay a human to do anything human? That's then it eats into my profit margin. And without a good profit margin, what's my value to society?
yeah, exactly. I mean, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Their
That's,
own, their own product is lying to them about
yep.
its own potential.
Its own value. Yes. I think it's interesting because I do think like our generation of parents, like, I don't know a lot of people who, as they're raising the kids, are like, you need to become a doctor. You need to become this. You need to do this. Most people I know are more just like, what do you like? Like, what makes you happy? Like, what brings you joy? Whereas I think our generation, there was more of that pressure of like, no, you need to be a lawyer. You need to have this. You need to provide. You need to do all this stuff. And I don't know many parents who are talking to their kids like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I've mentioned it. I'm like, if you're a surgeon,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you might have a good amount of, debt, but you'll make pretty good money. I don't
Yes.
know a lot of poor surgeons, but it's also, like, now when you're genuinely in middle age, I think that you look back at the concerns you had in high school and being like, I don't want to go to school for 12 years
Hmm. Yeah.
more, and go to medical school or go be an attorney or whatever. But now I'm like, 12 years ain't shit. You can do that. No
Right. Yeah.
problem. So, but it's a different perspective, different mindset, and kids are just gonna see it the way that they're going to see it.
Pretty
So
much. Yep.
there's just, yeah, I have no idea what the job market looks like or what they're going to be able to
Yep.
get into as far as education or, it's a lot of unknowns.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, to talk about like career stuff, I know you do music. Besides like doing Minus the Bear, what else do you do with your time? Do you do like a day job, or is Minus the Bear still like your full focus?
Currently, it's the full focus.
Yeah.
The While we were broken up on
Hmm.
hiatus, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
I worked at like a high-end hi-fi shop, stereo shop, and just a couple of days a week to be able to interact with adults
Hmm.
for a little bit, and was also doing the stay-at-home dad thing.
Yeah.
Still doing a lot of that. And even when I was touring before, it was kind of, I was available for the laundry, sweeping, and dishes and all that. So that's kind of my gig for the past, I guess, quite a while. So
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever your kids were born, were you in like a heavy touring cycle? Like, did you have any like you were touring, had kids, then were like, I don't like this. I want to be around more or anything like that?
yeah, after my son was born, I think we went on tour a couple weeks later,
Yeah.
and he was like, my wife Stephanie brought him out on tour when he was maybe 5 weeks old.
Hmm.
So they were like, on the tour bus and whatnot, hanging out.
Yeah.
And yeah, when daughter was born, and we lasted another, 3.5 years or something like that, 4 years.
Yeah.
And when they were that age, it was just like, I want to be home. I don't
Yeah.
want to like be writing records or in the studio or touring twice a year, 3 times a year. I want to kind of be home for this part of it. Now they don't
Yeah.
need me, so I can go ahead.
Now it's different. Now, if you do
That's
like
different.
20-year anniversary tour, they're like, were you here? Were you here at all? Like, are you gone? Can you bring me this drink?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I'm currently a stay-at-home primary parent or whatever. Did you find it hard to shift into the mindset of being like the primary parent, being around the house and like the minutia and like kind of, I don't want to say the word boring, but there's a lot of like little tasks you have to complete every day whenever you are the primary or stay-at-home parent. Was it hard for you to switch to this mode?
No, not
Cool.
really. I mean, yeah, I don't do well with bosses.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
that's why like the band thing works, and kind of the part-time job was fine, even though I
Hmm.
had a boss. He's a pretty awesome guy. So, but no, it fit pretty well with kind of what with my mindset. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm kind of, it's difficult with whatever level of neurodivergence I have to
Hmm.
keep a house clean and like, figure out what to do with shit, clutter, like, where's this
Yeah.
go, where's it go, or like, but there's some like mental peace almost in doing laundry or something
Hmm.
like that. Like,
Yeah.
fold laundry, watch a show or something. It's like that kind of, you do this, you do this, you do this, but it's like part of the parenting where you're like keeping track of appointments or trying to clean up or notice the clutter around and what to do with the stack of mail or the pile of
Yeah.
clothes before the laundry happens
Hmm.
is like, that's that's kind of the hard part. But other than that, other than a lot of the stuff, it's fine.
I feel the same with like mail, where I'm like, okay, if I put it here, like my wife usually wants to look over the bills and stuff before I go ahead and pay him or something like that. I do all the admin stuff as well. I'm like, I'll pay the bills, but she usually wants to look at it first, be like, hey, did we actually do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, where do I stack this so you see it? And that you, because if I just walk down and put it in your office, then it gets lost in the shuffle. So then, yeah, then I'll look up and be like, this has been sitting on the mantle for 3 weeks. Shit. I probably should
Yeah.
have already paid this bill.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just the stuff normal people apparently can do.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I do think there is like a zen to like a home life, basically. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
taking care of the dog, putting up the laundry, like unloading and loading the dishwasher, like where it doesn't. I think my wife will sometimes be like, "Are you sure like this is good? Like that you aren't like oh this is a lot." I'm like, "No, you just kind of get into a zen state and like needs to
Yeah.
get done, so you get it done."
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. You just get it done.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you ever? What about like? Because I've talked to some musicians where they talk about like the transition from when you're on stage and you're playing, you've got like people cheering your name, you've got all that energy and everything. Whenever you started being a stay-at-home parent, did you miss that energy of like being able to be in front of a crowd and like play in front of people?
I mean, yeah, the transition from tour to home is very difficult, I
Yeah.
think. Takes a couple weeks to really settle into it.
Yeah.
But once I was made the decision to be done with the band and playing, it was like a huge relief, you know? It was really nice to not have to make those transitions. And like going, one of the hard parts of touring while the band was active initially was like leaving was incredibly hard, created a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety and like, dread about it.
Hmm.
So now that the stakes are way lower, so we're not,
Yep.
we're just doing it for love and money. It's like
Hmm.
we love it and the money's there and the kids are older. So it
Yeah.
makes those transitions a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, I started becoming a stay-at-home parent whenever my second kid turned 1. And at the time I worked a job where I worked on Saturdays, and like leaving my wife and 2 kids at home alone while my wife was trying to figure out 2 kids under the age of 3 made me feel like I was an awful parent, felt like I was an awful partner every single time. All right. Even for that casual of a thing where I'm just gone for like 5 hours. And I was
Yeah.
like, this doesn't line up with, I don't like how this is shaping my priorities and integrity because this does not feel like I'm doing the right.
Yeah. And going on the road and leaving my wife who has her job
Yeah.
and then she gets everything else all at once.
Yep. I think it's like worth to note, or it's not highlighted enough, in my opinion, that like dads, husbands do feel that tension of like, oh man, am I want to support my wife and family? My wife also works full time at the and is like, I just don't want to leave you out to dry. Like, and is this really that worth it? And like, I know once we made the decision of like, it made more sense for me to stay home. The amount of
Mhm.
relief I felt from that, and my wife felt from that also, was great because it's like, oh, we don't have to have this conversation anymore of like, hey, when you go to work, how does everything stay afloat? And like to not deal with that anymore was like still, it was very relieving.
Yeah, and trying to do the math on, well, if we both work, then we're
Hmm.
talking about childcare and like maybe a cleaning
Mm.
service coming in
Yeah,
once
yeah,
a
yeah.
week, but having replacing all the stuff that a stay-at-home parent does can almost eliminate the benefit of two
Hmm.
parents working.
Yep.
Like when it comes to time and travel, commuting, gas, to all of it quickly the benefits quickly erode, I think. As long as you have um, the ability to live just in your city with the expenses that you have, um, and you can make it work. Like constructing like a household where you don't need two incomes for the mortgage and the cars and
Hmm.
um, and then the daycare and whatnot, and then all that. I mean, if you can live off the one income and avoid having, like I said, the diminishing returns of two incomes, I think that's
Yep.
a good thing.
Yep. I think when our first 2 kids were in daycare, it was a second mortgage. And like it was, I think when we did the math, like we didn't understand why it worked because yeah, the amount of stress, like if a kid is out sick, I think just the mental space it gives you where there's so many conversations you don't have to have anymore. Oh, my kid is sick at school. Okay, whose job matters more today? That's the conversation you have with your spouse. And like that adds tension to like every aspect of your life. So if you can figure it out to live off one income, that's pretty lucky and pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes from a place of privilege to be able to do so,
Without
and
question. Without
having that.
question.
So, like, totally recognize it's not possible
Hmm.
for a lot of people, but just don't see how sometimes people do it and make it pencil out. A lot of people, I don't know, like of like the grandparents or whatever of my parents' generation are just like gone, like poof. They're like,
Yeah.
in a different city,
Hmm.
different state. A lot of, our generation had to move away for work or whatever. But I mean, we're lucky enough that Steph's mom and her husband are here in Tacoma.
Yeah.
But like incredibly lucky, you know?
Yeah, because it is.
It's it would be nearly impossible as well without that resource too. So all these things have to line up and it doesn't necessarily happen for everybody. So yeah, I acknowledge the privilege of the stay at home
Yep.
parent.
Very much so. And I just try to consistently tell my wife, like, if I need to go back to work, because I'm sure you feel this for your wife also, like the stress level you also have to have if you work a job that sustains a family is a lot. So, like, I just try to look at my wife every once in a while and be like, if I need to go back to work, if like the stress that you're carrying every day so this life can happen is too much, like, I'm willing to change this up because I consider this a privilege and I have a lot of gratitude for being able to stay home. But I also know that's because you carry a lot of shit. So,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be alone in carrying that because you're carrying a lot.
Yeah. I mean, my wife and I have gone almost leapfrogged each other with like, and it's not necessarily by design, but like when like I quit my job to do the band, you know, she was the one earning money, and then the band was doing well, so she went back to college, and then
Cool.
eventually she got the job that allowed me to quit the band
Yeah, yeah.
and be the stay-at-home dad and whatnot. And
Yeah.
now, you know, not sure, you know, that's probably going to change again because
Mhm.
things change with, you know, work and whatnot. But yeah, thankfully we were able to go on tour and everything went well. It's just nice to be able to make a living and then be able to spend so much time at home
Yeah.
with the kids too.
Yeah.
So my advice to parents is get into a rock band and get, you know, moderately successful so that you
Moderately successful. Yeah, yeah.
go out for a few weeks, come home for the rest of the year. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, play some decent sized venues. Be
Yeah.
good enough for a tour bus. I guess that's also another thing that's crucial.
That that's so you can get some sleep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get some
exactly.
rest. Yeah. It's and you're not driving.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
it's
no.
much safer. It's much safer.
Because sleeping and driving, I've heard, is not a good thing to do.
And you don't really sometimes, no offense to the other guys in the band, trust them to be driving
Yeah.
at night as well. And, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, moderate,
Yeah.
get the bus, some money, and then you can be a stay-at-home dad for most of the year.
That's right. Or just do what I did and marry someone who's a hell of a lot smarter and more motivated and ambitious than you. That's the other
I
route. You
also
don't
did that.
Yeah, that's help. Look at that. I just needed to join a band
Genius.
that has moderate success.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure my family would love me leaving for weeks at a time.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. But I gave it up for about 7 years, and
Mhm.
now that every other band in the entire universe is returning and getting back together, I thought
Why not?
we all thought we'd do the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I had on Todd Bell from Hey Mercedes and Braid,
Mm,
and that was his energy. It was like, hey, if people want to come see us play and like we're all healthy, why the hell not? Like we'll work around our schedules and stuff, but like if
yeah.
Jimmy Eat World wants us to open for them for a couple nights and people want to watch us play music, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited for those shows, you know, coming up, and the Braid guys are
Yeah, they're
close
awesome.
friends of ours. So,
Yeah,
you know, stoked for all these bands that are just like, yeah, why not? But it's
yeah,
like I think a lot of the same things happen to them. Like their kids are now of an age that it makes sense that they're able to do these things. All these Gen X indie rockers.
yeah, pretty much. But really though, like I think I applaud you for being around for your kids so much and for looking up and be like, you know what? If I miss this, I'm going to regret it. It's like weighing it on the scale, right? Like, oh, I miss my band touring all the time, or I miss my children's lives. Think I'm going to value the children's lives over the rock star life.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, but I think as like you know, father, and you like the stay at home, it's like you almost wish you could engage. Like I'm not engaging enough. I'm not being a good enough stay at home dad.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
I'm not constant. I'm not like trying to find those, like, my dad took me fishing, but I fucking hated it. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
can I force my child to do that he hates that
Yeah,
he'll remember in the future, or my daughter? But
yeah. I think it's comic books. Is it making him read comic books?
like, it's easy for him to not do it because he could say he did. And It's like him trying to get the kids to read books these days. It's
Yeah.
just, it's, having, I don't know if it was like both my wife and I have English degrees, and I'm not sure that it's like, and there's books like everywhere in this house.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's just maybe there's some rebellion or like, you know, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just too much in their face. I could have
Yeah.
been like, "Oh, don't read books," and they'd be like, "Ooh, what's a book?"
That's what you
That's
need
fun.
to treat it like a liquor cabinet. You need to put glass doors on it and lock it and
Lock
say,
it.
like, if I see you guys in this cabinet, it'll be big trouble. But you have to convince yourself you actually mean it. That's gonna be the
Yeah.
real trouble.
This is the forbidden fruit. Don't go in there.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
That's it. That's cool. I also that resonates with me of like, yeah, I've been a stay-at-home parent now for, I don't know, 7, 8 years or something like that. And you do always have the mental list of like, wait, did I do this enough? Am I making this special enough? Am I capitalizing
Yeah.
on this? And it's just, I mean, if you're able to be somewhat mentally present for your kids as you have a constant to-do list in your head, cool. That's great. Some days I feel like I know how to do it. Other days I'm like, who the hell was that today?
Yeah. 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 It's the days are short, and it's difficult to be an idea, like the mental whatever picture you have of
Yeah.
ideal parenting.
Yep.
It's unattainable, and you have to just say "F it" sometimes. And
Basically.
like you kind of mentioned at the beginning of our conversation about just maybe kind of reminded me of parenting advice, like when people like
Yeah.
you
Here's how to be the
are,
best dad ever. Here's how to be perfect at it.
yeah, scrolling, and they're like, "Here's how you keep a clean house."
Yeah.
And they're like, you with even, with ADD, you put baskets, each person gets a basket. And I'm like, how many baskets are we gonna end up with then when
Yep.
they don't get emptied anyway?
Yep.
Or like, they're like, don't raise your voice at your kids, do this instead. And I'm like, you've never met my kids. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know how they would react to your, like, do you have kids?
Yeah.
To those people, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
do you even have children? So the idealized kind of advice that you get never seems to be, it never fits it doesn't fit everybody. So like when yeah, that's a frustrating part of today's parenting, is all the advice that's being thrown around.
Yep. And then also, as someone who skateboarded, listened to punk music growing up, the asshole in me is like, it worked for you. So you're just telling me it
Yeah.
worked for you. I don't care. And then I'm like, Devin, calm it down. Don't be such a dick. Like, just there's probably something you can learn from this person. But my initial response is to be like, you don't know me, don't know my kid, don't know my history. I don't care. Get out of here.
Yeah. And like, we were raised by boomers, and
Hmm.
I was raised by one boomer and one silent generation. So they were kind
Oh,
of like
okay.
bridging that gap.
Yeah.
And it was just that traditional 80s, 90s childhood where you would just you just did whatever you wanted, like
Hmm.
they didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it's a totally true cliche about the Gen X generation and elder millennials, is just our parents didn't know where we were
Mhm.
and what we were doing. And we
Yep.
got into some trouble. We got into some shit.
Yep.
And I think that's what kind of influences our parenting to be like, what are our kids doing?
Yeah.
And being like interested in like, why is this not, why aren't they? And then you go to the parent, you hear parenting advice and you're like, well, maybe that'll work. And it doesn't work. But I think that it's when I grew up and saw everything I saw and did all the things I did while I was out skateboarding with my buddies and
Yeah.
whatnot. I'm like, if I would just freak out if my kid was doing some of that stuff.
Hmm.
But it was certainly fun. But you're like, you know, I don't even know. Like, I
Yeah.
think there's a response that our generation has
Correct.
to
Yes.
our free reign childhood that does feel like I want to protect my kids from some of that,
Hmm.
or like it, led to some mental harm, and like
Yep.
some
Yep.
some of it did, some of it was character building, I suppose, and some of it was, like we barely made it out alive. So
Yeah. Some of it created some great coping mechanisms you're still dealing with today. That's childhood, right?
yeah, yeah, You want them to struggle just enough, right?
Just some
Yeah.
discomfort. That's the main thing I do with that is like, whenever I was like in middle school, I just played video games online all the time. And now I'm much more like, as a parent, I'm like, nope, you get screen time, you get limits. You don't get unfettered access to a screen. And like, but as a kid, like my parents both worked full time. So they're like, hey, like, have you done your homework? And I'd be like, what's homework? And they're like, get off like, go do homework. Like they'd have to be on me about it. But like at the same time, they were mentally exhausted by the end of the day. So like, that's one thing I know as a parent where I'm like, if they get home, like we want to do screens, I'm like, you get 20 minutes. I'm setting the timer now. Like I don't let it go past that. But that's a reaction to, I had too much access to the internet.
Yeah. I mean, good for you. I can't do screen limits, like,
Really? Okay.
yeah, it's just for some reason when my son's main interest is video games and like
Yeah.
really getting into it,
Yeah.
giving him an hour doesn't let him get into the game enough to
Yeah.
actually accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
I get that.
And so I give him some leeway there. I mean, that's like his skateboarding in
Yeah.
a way. And there's all the studies about screen time and whatnot, but I think that in some regard, the complexity of doing like a online competitive shooter like
Mhm.
Fortnite or
Fortnite,
something
yeah.
like that,
Yep.
and the amount of attention and dexterity and coordination that you
Yes.
have in team play is may outweigh some of the,
Yeah.
not, some of the other problems that might come up with it. It's better than scrolling TikTok and
Mhm.
like that's another thing with every kid is different. And I think that with my daughter being in gymnastics and school and all that, when she comes home from that, giving her a little, like some time to chill
Mhm.
with, like she has a phone that's not hooked up to, you know, the, it doesn't, she can't go off with it and like go out in the world. It's just
Yeah.
basically a little iPad
Gotcha. Yeah.
so that she stops borrowing our phones.
I
And
get that.
but I think for her, it gives her some downtime.
Yeah.
And I just think that I wish I'd have been stricter when they were younger,
Mhm.
but you know, it's tough being a
Yep.
parent when they're young and then if their interests lean that way, yeah, it's difficult.
Yep.
But
It's a
also,
yeah.
I'm just not good at laying down the law either. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's all balance, man. I mean, like my kids were 2 and 1 or 3 and 1 when COVID hit. So like they were still young enough
Yeah,
where I could
it's
teach them, like they
crazy.
could play with dolls and do stuff like that. But like if they would have
Right.
been 7 and 5, all the screen time rules would have gone out the window. Cause I would like, how do you entertain a child? Like whenever you are the source of entertainment, it's fucking exhausting.
Yes.
And so like you do need a screen time, you do need a movie or something like that. And like my kids still do screens and stuff. I'm just more, it's like a reaction to my own self of like, hey, I know I did this a lot as a kid and I wish I wouldn't have as much. So like I'm
Yeah, yeah.
realistically projecting onto them a deficit.
Yeah, that's
But like,
great.
yeah, I mean, whenever I'm sure your kids during COVID, it was like screen time limits, and you're like, I've already it's 10 a.m. I've already entertained them for like 4 hours. I don't know what else to do. I'm good.
And that's like the other parenting challenge is having these kids that were in elementary school
Mm-hmm.
on screens, trying to remote learn
Yep.
for a kid with ADD, like my son. And
Yeah.
like, we tried to help him focus on his classes and sit in with him. And it did not help one iota. So we decided to just let him take the class. They put
Yeah.
everything's on a laptop now, which continuing with the laptops is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sunk cost fallacy. They probably invested in these contracts with these providers, but
Yep.
it's just awful. They should
Yeah.
just go back to books and paper, but
Yeah.
every parent probably thinks the same. But the having to have the remote learning was necessary at the time, no doubt. But for kids like ours, with certain teachers were great at it and other teachers were horrible at it. And those teachers might be fantastic in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But when my son is looking at a screen that's being just shared with like words on it, instead of a teacher actively physically visible and teaching like they would in a class, he
Yeah.
he can't process that information.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised at how well these kids are actually doing considering all that.
Mm-hmm.
What a
Yeah.
weird time. I mean, we got a dog during COVID and it's insane, like
Mm-hmm.
socialized and very poorly, but she's working on it.
Yeah,
She's
that's
working.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. But no, yeah, I think my oldest started kindergarten in 2021 or so. So it would have been the year, like, I think she wore a mask for the first half of the year and then for the second half didn't. And like every day I was like, oh man, if this would have been a year ago, I'm glad, I'm hopeful that that never gets repeated again because
Yeah, yeah.
everyone did the best they could. And yeah,
Yeah.
shit, it sucks.
Yeah, and my daughter went to kindergarten and pretty much, the
Yep.
next year was remote.
Yeah.
And yeah, she had some good teachers for it. My son had a teacher that was not great for, like I said, just kind of showing the lesson without
Yep.
showing how to do the lesson.
Well, like, I don't know how teachers are trained nowadays, but I think it's mostly trained for classroom management, classroom techniques. So to take someone and be like, by the way, now do this through a screen, like that's a whole different skill set.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, it wasn't easy for the teachers by any
yeah,
means. So,
it wasn't.
yeah.
But I'll start wrapping down the episode. How I end every episode is ask every guest just a series of 5 questions. They're pretty lighthearted and fun, and they aren't rapid fire. The first question is, did you have any backup names for your kids? Like anything you almost named your kids?
I mean, there were a couple. There was like Everett maybe for Jackson because like
Mm-hmm.
we had um, one of the family members in the past was named Uncle Ev or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but not a lot. I mean, now that there's 1 million Jacksons in his age group, I'm kind
Yeah.
of like might have been cool to do something else, but
Mm-hmm.
he can he can he can move through that adversity. But June was always going to be. I think that we really like that name. Is my grandmother's name,
Cool.
and it's just nice and light and pretty.
Yeah. My middle daughter's middle name is June. Yeah, June's like super cute.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
And then next question, do you have a favorite TV or movie dad or one that comes to mind when I ask that question?
Favorite TV or movie dad?
Yeah, or comes to mind because favorite implies a value system that you like them. So you can also do what comes to mind when you hear that phrase.
I really like what's that Modern Family? What's the dad on
Phil
Modern Family?
Dunphy?
Yeah, Phil Dunphy,
Yeah,
because it's just he's he loves his kids, but he's so clueless. It's just fantastic. Yeah,
I think
he's
him
good.
or Bandit from Bluey are the two most common answers.
We're like post Bluey parents,
You are. You're
like
post bit.
by
Yeah, yeah.
like a year probably or
Yes, you
two.
are. Yeah. Next question. Do you have a replacement curse word or do you just curse?
We just curse.
Yep.
Yeah, my son hated it growing up. He didn't like cursing, and he would be. But now he swears up a storm. We just hear him playing video games downstairs, and just yeah. My daughters always loved it and thought it was hilarious. So we just teach them about the appropriate usage and time
Yep.
to do it.
Yep.
Place and time.
That's awesome. Next question. What's like one of your favorite activities or toys that you play with your kids?
Let's see. Favorite activities or toys? We did do a lot of Lego back when Jackson was interested in that kind of
Hmm.
thing. And it's really fun to come back to it as an adult after being a kid. And now that he's not as into it, I've got like a couple sets I wish I could dig into, but now I feel like, when do I have the time? Now that he's not really doing it. And like, I don't know, June, toy wise, I don't know. She
Yep.
did the doll thing and whatnot. Um, but I don't know. She was a funny little kid and had a really killer sense of humor, but as a second child, she was also kind of like a handful.
Huh? Yep.
Just finding a few little things, just running around with her, going and doing like kind of
Mhm.
random stuff was kind of what we got into.
Yep. I also feel like my second child is much more like physical needs of like needs to run around, wants to be picked up, wants like more physical play. And like
Yeah.
as she gets older, she likes to read books and like sit still and stuff. But like no, she's the one who's like this play a game, chase me, like this play hide and seek like constantly. Where like yeah, by the afternoon it was like I can't hide, like I've hidden in every place in our house.
You know
There's
where
nowhere
I'm
else
going
I
to
can
be.
hide.
Yeah.
And then last question. This one's one of my favorite Sass dads. What is your least favorite kids show? Like whenever your kids would watch it, or if they still watch it, you're like, this is a piece of shit. I hate this show.
It's got to be like the classic kind of Caillou or Peppa
Kaya.
Pig.
Kaya. Yep.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
horrible. Considering all the quality programming out there, I have no idea. I mean, like VeggieTales is stupid,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, I rock with like Dinosaur Train and,
Yeah.
the Paw Patrol, and we got into Adventure Time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So good. So good. So there's some of those, that kind of really great material that parents can enjoy as well. My God. Barbie Life in the Dream House. I don't know if you've ever seen that show,
I haven't.
but it is amazing.
Okay.
So, Barbie Life in the Dream House. There's a few different Barbie shows,
There are a lot of Barbie shows.
but this is, and some of them look the same, but this specific one
Okay.
is more geared toward that kind of like, still has humor
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grew up with
That's
Barbie.
okay. That's all. It looks like it's on Netflix. I'll look
Okay.
into it after this.
Yeah.
I grew up like Lutheran, and I always wanted to make fun of VeggieTales because they're both fruits. A cucumber and a tomato are both fruits. How am I supposed to trust any other word that comes out of your mouth whenever you're lying immediately
They're
right off the
lying
bat?
to you. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's a fact.
In fact, you guys are both not vegetables, and you're supposed to be
plant
vegetables.
Produce Tales. Oh, that
Produce
sounds good.
tales. Oh yeah, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. And then other last thing is just like moment for self promotion. So like if you want to promote like band's Instagram, website, yourself, anything like that, anything you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, we're going on tour in September. We're going to have the Jimmy Eat World shows. We're playing Shaky Knees Festival in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm just really excited. Like we headline, and we have headlined our tours and whatnot for most of our career, and being able to support an amazing band like Jimmy Eat World and get
Yeah.
in front of their audience is going to be a blast. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
So
All right. Thanks, Devin.
appreciate it,
Yeah.
Jake. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never Effaced Network. Make sure to go to nevereffacednetwork.com to learn more about them.